This video is made for an adult audience. Hey Brick fans, welcome back to the Brick Bakery, where all our jokes are half baked. I'm Jacob, and today it's time to continue work on the Ninjago City District in my LEGO City. For the last couple of videos, I have been working intently on trying to get finished with my LEGO Ninjago City District. However, it is taking quite a while because it is much more involved than I thought initially. But today, I hope I can get done with the flooring and support for the first floor of my Ninjago City District, and maybe even start to put in some of the shops and some of the stuff that is supposed to be on the first floor. So, without further ado, let's head over to the city and I'll tell you more about this project. This right here is the current state of the LEGO Ninjago City District in my LEGO City Bakersville, and I am pretty satisfied with where it is right now. However, today I would like to get this cover, this floor right here done, make it all the way out here and have some kind of indent so it won't cover up the bridge too much. I think that would look very interesting. Other than that, I hope I might have the time to add a couple of the shops, or at least start the outline of the shops and houses and other things that's supposed to be up here in this part of the city. There have been some suggestions that I move this Ninjago City pharmacy closer to the actual Ninjago City, but I'm not sure I will actually do that in the long run, because I do have some plans with this that might integrate very well with the Ninjago City and give a nice sort of fading effect from the Ninjago City into a more sort of normal city look. And with all that, I think it's time we move this over to the build table and get started on today's building. So here we are at the build table, and what I want to do today is add a pillar here, in here centrally, to actually support this floor up here, and also add some pillars either out here or here. I'm not completely sure about that yet, but what I need to do is add enough support so I can actually have the floor up here being not wobbly, being stable, and also add some supports out here so I can actually make that indent I was talking about, so the whole city will sort of adjust for this bridge right here. I do have some ideas on how to do this, but I'm not sure I have the room I need, but we'll see. Let's get started. So here is the first step of this pillar. As you can see, I have given this some depth by actually using a small trick down here. I can show you. There's a couple of jumper plates, maybe a little hard to see, a couple of jumper plates in here, and then just a tile over here, which gives you the opportunity to place something a little off center relative to every other stud, so you get this indent look, which gives a nice sense of depth. And on the sides is just regular red bricks and light bluish gray masonry bricks. Now I just need to make a platform up here so I can actually make the actual support. Here we go, I have made the upper support. Now, initially I did have an idea to use these as well here in this middle section right here, but these jumper plates have round connections, and for some reason these have square connections. So if I try to attach this is what happens, it'll just fall down. So now I've made an alternative way of doing this. And I think it adds a nice little detail. Now I have to place a plate across this before I can actually attach the floor here to have it the same height as everything else. So this is the solution I came up with for this top up here, to just equal out or even out this little indent right here. So I ended up adding another detail, which was one of these small bricks on each side, and a couple of 1x2 plates, and of course a grill piece, just to add a little more detail. And of course, because the jumper plates are off center, so these wouldn't fit with the plate above, so that didn't really make any sense. So yeah, this is now here, and I think we're getting to a place where the upper part of this is going to be very well supported. So yeah, this is where we're at right now. I need to add more pillars and stuff, and we'll see how everything goes. So I realized that I needed some Technic stuff here to actually make support all the way over. So I added some Technic pins and some Technic bricks like this. I made one that went across all the way here and added the 3 length pins. See if I can find one to show you. It's right here. These 3 length pins on each end, and added one of these very long Technic bricks on each side, and then connected them at the end with a 1x4, so we'll have a little more support out here. Of course, this will these here will make the main supports for the pillars that's supposed to be out here, which is going to be great. I think this could look pretty good actually. Alright, so I've made this here to be the main support. I've used a lot of 2x3 red bricks. Now, of course, you could do a lot more with details and such, but this to me is just a structure that is mostly there for support, and you're not going to be able to see it too much once the next floors gets up there. So I think this level of detailing is going to be fine. If not, I can always add detailing in some way or another. That's no problem. What I have discovered is that I made a slight miscalculation. There is now not room for my little bathhouse where it used to be. So what I need to do is I need to move this whole structure this way just a tiny bit, but you can see down here that there's actually not room on the plate for this to be moved. So I will have to add some supports beneath this, some bricks beneath this to just even out that problem. But I don't think it's going to be a big problem anyway, because there is plenty of room to do with down here. So yeah. Here we go. I have now moved this set of pillars to their right place. There's now room for this little house here, and it's all looking very, very neat, I think. Of course, as I said, there could be more details down here, but most of it is ultimately going to be hidden. Now, what's going to be interesting is to see how well all of this holds up once I start building on top of it, but this one at least will hold a lot of weight. I've made this plate right here, which is coupled together with all kinds of different smaller plates, and now I will be attaching this, and we'll see how it looks. Like this, here, and in the middle, yeah, and like this. Now that went just about as well as I could have expected. Now I can see that I will have to add some additional supports out here, which is also the case over here, but other than that, I think, yeah, I'm hoping that this is sufficiently stable. We'll see. Ultimately, I'll just, you know, maybe I could just add bricks on top to just tie everything together, but yeah, for now I think this is looking pretty good, I've got to say. And yeah, one thing I have discovered is that it's, weirdly enough, it's actually a little off center in the sense that, no, it's not. No, I have been fooled by myself. So now I will try to add that indent thing I have been talking about, and hopefully you can see what I mean. Here we go. I have now added these two sides here, and this indent is now very visible. You can see how it sort of accommodates this little bridge down here, which I think looks kind of neat. And of course, there's many more things I need to do, but this is a really good step in the right direction to get started on this. Now I've also added some bricks down here. Now these bricks aren't really adding any real support, I'm sure, but visually they look like they are. Of course, I may have to add some kind of visual thing here because this is very thin and it looks very thin. So maybe, you know, maybe a row of bricks or a row of slope pieces or something would look good, just to sort of give it a slight sort of, you know, sort of sloped look, which is what comes from sloped bricks. Yeah, maybe I should do that. Yeah, I'll try one side at least and we'll see how it goes. Alright, so this is it. There is of course some plating here which I should change for this to reach all the way. However, whoops, this side is definitely not going to be very visible, so it's just a sense of something being there, and I think it's also added a lot more stability to all of this, which is good. So now the next step would be maybe making some ladders and starting to get in the shops and all that. I'll just have a quick think and maybe do some outlining or such, but other than that I think I'm gonna have to stop for today very shortly. This is a rough outline of what I was thinking I would do. Very rough. I don't have all the details in place yet, but you can get sort of the idea. Now, first of all, I've added these fences around here, which is general Ninjago style. We've seen that in the real Ninjago City set. I've also added a ladder over here, so there's a way to get up here for the minifigures. I'm not sure it should be sitting here or if I'll move it eventually, but for now, this is where it has gone. Of course, suggestions are more than welcome for any kind of detail that you can come up with. This up here is first and foremost a small window from a TIE fighter, I believe. I don't know what generation of TIE fighter this is, and if it even is a TIE fighter window, but to me it looks a lot like the TIE fighter window. And I imagine this is going to be some kind of laboratory or something like that. Any kind of suggestions would be more than welcome. And if you have any ideas for details or anything like that, that would be fun to have up here, please let me know in the comments below and I'll be happy to consider all of them. These two here are going to have some transparent panels behind them so you can actually see inside the building that's going to be up here. Now, I don't know if this should be this big or if I should make it a little smaller, maybe something like this in general, and have more buildings or just have bigger buildings up here. Now, I think generally there are two on each level, sort of one on a corner, but as there isn't really any corners here, that's not going to be what I will be aiming for. At the back, you can see these two canopies here. Now, these are both from different kinds of space theme. Probably this could be from something else. I'm not 100% sure. This is not how I envision them being placed as such. I want them to be upright in some way. Don't know how to do that quite yet, but I will figure that one out. And this one as well should be upright in some kind of building. I'll figure out how to do that at some point. If these don't work, I do have others which might fit better. This green one here, which I imagine would be from Space Police or something like that. So I do imagine this being very sort of transparent bricks and transparent panels and all that, and also much more futuristic than what's going to go on down here. I've also considered adding as much color as I can think of, because I think that'll be visually interesting. But yeah, so overall that's the basic idea of what I think should be going on right here. But for now, this is all I have time for. I'll be moving this over to the city and we'll see how it looks. Here we are back in the city, ready to put back in the Ninjago City. So there's a city in the city, a city in the city. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Oh, very exciting. Ooh. This is going to be hard moving this when it gets taller. Yeah, well, don't take your sorries in advance. There we go. Wow. Well, it's certainly got much more visible all of a sudden. That's very interesting. Let's have another angle. Yeah, definitely. This got much more visible. This was it's cool. I like it, and now you can start to get a sense of how tall this will actually be and how well it will actually integrate with everything else that's going on here. Yeah, this is gonna be great. I'm really happy about this. I didn't think this would make such a huge difference, but it really did. I think it really did. And I also think that the sort of cyberpunk Blade Runner aesthetic gets more visible like this. I think the fact you can see stuff going on down here really adds to the layered look. This is great. I'm genuinely surprised about how well this looks in the city. Of course, any kind of suggestions you may have for this is more than welcome. I'd love to hear any of your ideas. Maybe ideas for shops or a certain look, maybe some colors, maybe certain pieces you would like to see used here, because I can use every kind of inspiration you might be able to give me. But I think that would be all for now. I will go back to me and I'll say thank you for watching. Today I continued work on my LEGO Ninjago City District in my LEGO City Bakersville, and I am very pleased with how this turned out. I was very surprised when I put this back how sort of iconic it looked all of a sudden in comparison to everything else. Now, of course, as I've said before, any of your suggestions are more than welcome. I'd be happy to hear what you have to say about this. Next time, I think I'll be working a bit on the integration of this in the city. As you saw, the shops that's down below the Ninjago City District doesn't really integrate very well with the Ninjago City presently. I think I'll do something about that, either by adding some kind of waterfall or maybe an aqueduct or something like that. That'll be interesting to work with. But that's all for me today. I hope you'll comment, like, and subscribe, and hope I'll see you folks next next Monday.